everyone, this is Ashley Tucker for My Favorite Things. In my last video, I used the Peekaboo Honeycomb die to create a cute little card with bees on it, which I feel like is what you would think to do with this die. But this time I wanted to use that same die and do something a little bit unexpected. So I picked out 7 different colors of cardstock, which I thought looked really nice together, a little bit of a rainbow going on. And I cut that die out of each of those different colors of cardstock. And I put all of the little hexagons into a dish so that I had a nice pile of all of the different colors. This gives me a lot of hexagons, and I'm not going to use them all on one card because there's so many of them, but I will keep the leftover ones, and I'll either use them on future cards or I will let my daughter use them for her craft time. I laid out all of the hexagons onto my white piece of paper, and I did play with the arrangement for a while until I found one that I liked. And once I was happy with it, I did take the time to add foam tape to the back of each of these little hexagons, which is a little bit time consuming, but it's totally worth it to me because I do love the dimension on this card. And it wasn't really a big deal. It wasn't hard to do. It just took a little time, so I watched a TV show in the background while popping each of these up. One thing that I didn't realize that I was doing when I was arranging the hexagons is I actually mirrored the design. So the bottom is a mirror of the top of the pattern. I didn't realize I was doing that. I think that just looked really visually pleasing to me, so that's the way that it ended up. And then after I was done, I was looking at it and I realized that it was mirrored. The white piece of cardstock that I'm popping all of these up on is a piece of Neenah Solar White cardstock, and it is cut to 3.5 by 4 3/4 inches. The sentiment that I picked out for this card comes from the Mini Birthday Messages stamp set. This is a slightly older sentiment set, but I did check on the website and it is available. It's a really great staple sentiment set to have in your stash because it has some great birthday sentiments. I chose the sentiment which says birthday wishes, and I stamped that with Versamark ink onto some black cardstock, and then I embossed it with a white embossing powder. Now, I did prep that paper before stamping with a powder bag, just to ensure that I didn't have any issues with the embossing. I used some scissors and I very carefully fussy cut this sentiment out so that I can pop it up onto my card. For this size of a sentiment, I always like the look of fussy cutting it out instead of doing a strip. I have an A2 size card base made with some gray cardstock. This is a really light fog gray cardstock. And I'm popping up my hexagon background panel onto that with foam tape. And then I'm going to also use foam tape to pop up my birthday sentiment. This is going to be a card with a lot of dimension, but I love the dimension on it, so I think it's worth using a bigger envelope just to fit all of that good dimension. As you can see, I snuck another piece of foam tape under that side of the sentiment so that it would be even with the rest of the dimension. To finish up this card, I just added a few sequins around the hexagon pattern. I want the pattern to remain the focus of this card, so I didn't want to do anything too crazy with my embellishments. So I did keep them clear sequins for a really clean looking card. I glued those down with some liquid adhesive, and then this card is all done. And I really love the way that the colorful rainbow hexagon pattern turned out. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this card design and that it gave you some ideas and inspiration for ways that you could maybe take your dies and use them in an unexpected way. I hope you have a wonderful day today, and I'll see you next time.